Today you are going to learn the construction and working of a transformer. Look at the device. You may have seen this device in any electronic or electrical circuits. This one is called transformer. It's a real transformer. Here there are three parts in the transformer. If it is dismantled, you could see the three parts. Look at the dismantled parts here. There are two coils. One is called primary coil and another one is called secondary coil. So there are two windings are there. They don't have any physical contact. Primary coil and secondary coil, they won't touch with each other. So these are all the two free ends of the primary coil. Here there are the two free ends of the secondary coil. Both primary coil and secondary coil both are wound on the some core. The name of the core is called silicon steel. This material is made up of silicon steel. Usually soft iron or silicon steel, any one of the materials could be used as a core on which both primary winding and secondary winding both are wound on that. So there are three parts. What are they? Primary winding, that core, and secondary coil. Here there is no movable parts. That's why this device is considered as a stationary device. This device is used as a stationary device. So here you should know what is the purpose. Here this transformer, this one will work only in alternating current, that is AC. This one it won't function in DC, that is in direct current. Are you clear? Look at the two usages. If the voltage which is applied across the primary, if it is a AC voltage, if it is a high AC voltage, that could be converted into low AC voltage across the secondary. Okay, high AC voltage can be converted into low AC voltage, or low AC voltage can be converted into high AC voltage. So this is the main purpose of using the transformer. Understand? High AC voltage can be converted into low AC voltage, or low AC voltage can be converted into high AC voltage. That's why this kind of transformers are used. Look at the windings and their ends. These two are the ends of the primary coil. These two are the ends of the secondary coil. Look at the two ends of the secondary coil. These two are the ends of the primary coil. Are you clear? Large number of laminated sheets are. Laminated sheets means individually they can be removed. Sheet by sheet we can remove. These kind of sheets are called laminated sheets. They are insulated. Like that the wires are also insulated. They won't have any contact with one another. Are you clear? When current passes through primary, is it clear? What will happen? The current, it won't pass through the secondary. There won't be any physical contact between primary coil and secondary coil. Can you understand? Another thing is, here we are going to see what is happening here actually inside. What is the principle behind the function of the transformer? Look at that. Here you may have already learnt about mutual induction. Mutual induction was already taught in the previous sessions. Mutual induction, that one will happen in between two pair of coils. Look at the two pair of coils here. Primary winding is there, secondary winding is there. Just for understanding purpose, both are drawn separately. But in real transformer, how the thing will be? Both the two, they will be wound within one another. It will be like this. Look at the arrangement. I have converted the shape now. The primary winding and secondary winding, both of them will be within the same core. Are you clear? Here when alternating voltage or current, are you clear? I am again mentioning about the name. When AC current or voltage is supplied across the two end of the primary coil, AC current or AC voltage is a varying one. When AC current is a varying one, the nature of the current should be taken as a varying one. So the current passing through the primary will be always changing with respect to time. When current changes in the primary coil in the form of AC, that is alternating current, what will happen here? the current is passing through the primary changes? No. The flux which is creating in the primary will also change. The flux which is created in the primary will change with respect to time. Are you clear? Now, the what are all flux is created here? What are all flux is changing with respect to time in primary? That is linked with secondary also. Look at the core. Both are bound on the same core. Are you clear? So the primary and secondary both are close to one another. They are bound within one another. Are you clear? The flux which is created in the primary, that one will be completely linking with secondary. The changes which are caused in the primary, the changes which are caused in the flux in the primary, that one will happen, the same change will happen in secondary coil also. The change in magnetic flux in primary coil will happen in the secondary coil also. Are you clear? Again, I would like to repeat. What are all changes happening in the flux in the primary coil, that one will happen in the secondary coil. So here also change in flux happens. When flux is changing in the secondary, what will happen? Another induced current will be produced. That current will be flowing in the secondary winding. The current what is sent, the current what is supplied is called IP, primary current. The current which is induced in the secondary coil is called IS. Are you clear? The voltage supplied across the two ends of the coil is called VP, primary voltage. The voltage which is measured across the secondary winding is called VS. And the number of turns, look at that, the number of turns which are wound on the primary coil is called NP, number of turns in primary winding. Here the few number of turns are wound in the secondary. Such number of turns are called secondary. Are you clear? That is called NS. NP means number of turns in primary, NS means number of turns in secondary. Are you clear? Depends on the number of turns we are able to classify the transformer. One kind of transformer is there, that is called step down transformer. Another kind of transformer is there, that is called step up transformer. Look at the nature of the step down transformer. Now we have to compare the number of turns in primary and secondary. In number of turns in the secondary is lesser. Look at that, number of turns in the secondary is lesser when compared to number of primary. By that time it will be called as step down transformer, that is NS is lesser than NP. Look at the another diagram. Number of turns in primary is lesser, number of turns in the secondary is more. So number of turns in the secondary is greater, no, number of turns in primary is lesser. So by that time this kind of transformer is called step up transformer. What this step up transformer will do? What is the purpose? Now you say step up transformer is used to convert low voltage AC into high voltage AC. Mainly the step up transformers, they are used in the power transmissions. Step down transformer, what is the purpose of using step down transformer? Step down transformer will convert high AC voltage into low AC voltage. Mainly the step down transformer, they are used in electric and electronic circuits and also in adapters, eliminators. So what I have shown now, what I am keeping here, it's a kind of step down transformer. Are you clear? Number of turns in the primary is more, number of turns in the secondary is more, secondary is less. For example, I would like to tell one important thing. For example, if you want to convert 230 volt AC into 6 volt AC, are you clear? 230 volt AC into 6 volt AC, which kind of transformer must be used? Step down transformer must be used. If you want to convert 180 volt AC into 220 volt AC, which kind of transformer must be used? Step up transformer must be used. So depends on the need, either we can use step up transformer or step down transformer. Are you clear? Finally, I would like to tell about why it is called transformer. Which one is transformed? That is the main question here. We should know why it is called transformer. Which one is transformed? Here there are two circuit portions are there. primary coil circuit and secondary coil circuit. Here if you multiply these two, that is Vp and Ip. What is Vp? Voltage across primary and current which is flowing through the primary. If both are multiplied, you will get the power. That power can be called as input power. What is this? Input power. That is power in primary. Are you clear? If you multiply the induced EMF, that is voltage across secondary, and current which is induced in the secondary, if both are multiplied, you will get the power in the secondary. That is output power. So the power what is given here, will be completely transformed into, again I would like to insist the point, the power which is given here in input, that one will be completely transformed without any loss in secondary coil, secondary winding. So the input power will be equal to output power. Are you clear? The input power will be equal to output power. So the power what is given here will be transformed into output power. That's why since the power is transformed from one circuit to another circuit without changing the frequency of the AC, this device is called transformer. Just I have given the outline, just I have told about the principle and construction of the transformer. Let's see the working now. Okay. Now we are going to see the working of the transformer. Look at we have to concentrate only on the primary winding. Look at here. Across the two ends of the primary winding, the source of alternating voltage is connected. So from the source, which kind of current is supplied here? It's a varying current. When current varies, the magnetic flux which is produced, the magnetic flux which is linked with the coil will also change. The magnetic flux linked with the coil can be named as pi b. Are you clear? So when current changes, this magnetic flux will also change with respect to the coil. The magnetic flux linked with the coil will change. The magnetic flux linked with the coil, that is related to that n number of turns in the primary. Are you clear? Not a single winding. So many number of windings are there. N number of windings are there. That is called NP. So the magnetic flux is changing within this NP number of turns. Are you clear? When magnetic flux changes, as per Michael Faraday, what he says in the first law and second law, when magnetic flux changes, there will be an induced EMF. What is this? There will be an induced EMF which is produced here. That is called self-induction. Due to self-induction, what will happen? Within the coil itself, one more EMF will be created. That is called back EMF. What is this? Back EMF. So you are supplying the alternating voltage from the source. Current changes. Current changes with respect to time. Within the coil itself, magnetic flux changes with respect to time. When magnetic flux changing with respect to time within the coil itself, one more EMF will be created. That is called back EMF. That back EMF can be written as Xi p. Are you clear? That is EMF produced in the primary coil. That can be written as how the back EMF is created due to self-induction. Magnetic flux is changing. No, that magnetic flux is changing with respect to time. Are you clear? That is linked with how many number of turns? NP number of turns. Are you clear? That back EMF that is opposing the change in magnetic flux. Therefore, minus sign must be written. So, back EMF which is induced in the primary coil can be written as Xi p, which is equal to minus NP d pi b divided by dt. Are you clear? This one will appear in the form of voltage across here, across this primary coil. You can measure this. This voltage that could be measured here. The voltage applied across primary can be measured in the form of back EMF. Therefore, we can write it as the voltage across primary which is equal to the back EMF Xi p, which is also equal to minus NP d pi b divided by dt. Understand? The back EMF which is created within the primary, the back EMF which is induced in the primary, that one will appear in the form of voltage across primary, that is equal to minus NP divided NP d phi b divided by dt. When magnetic flux linked with primary changes, all those things happen. Now I have concentrate only on the primary coil. Are you clear? This equation can be taken as 1, that is voltage across primary equation is written here. Let's come to the second part. Here, very closer to the primary coil, secondary coil is kept. Are you clear? So when alternating voltage source is connected across primary, what will happen? Current will vary through the circuit. When current changes, magnetic flux linked with primary will change. The magnetic flux linked with primary can be named as pi b. The magnetic flux linked with primary will be completely linking with secondary. Don't forget, the magnetic flux linked with secondary and magnetic flux linked with primary, both of them will be same. Are you clear? Don't forget, there won't be any leakage of magnetic flux because they have a common core within which both primary coil and secondary coil both are wound up. Therefore, the magnetic flux linked with primary will be equal to magnetic flux linked with secondary. The change, due to the change in current, magnetic flux also changes. The change which is created here, that one will be created here also. Are you clear? So when magnetic flux linked with secondary changes, there will be another induced EMF will be created. That induced EMF can be called as Xi S. The induced EMF which is produced in the secondary coil can be taken as, what is the Xi S? Are you clear? Now I am going to write the expression for Xi S, that is induced EMF produced in the secondary coil. How it happens? Because the magnetic flux is changing with respect to time. Are you clear? Magnetic flux linked with the coil changes with respect to time. That is connected with the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil is related with, linked with how many number of turns? Let us imagine Ns is nothing but number of turns in the secondary. Therefore, that change that is occurring in this many number of turns in the secondary. Y minus sign due to Lenz's law. Are you clear? The induced EMF which is induced in the secondary coil, that is opposing the change. That is opposing the change in the magnetic flux. That's why it is opposing the change in the magnetic flux. No, that's why as per Lenz's law we have to write minus sign. This Is, that is the induced EMF in the secondary, will appear in the form of voltage across secondary. Therefore, the voltage across secondary can be written as Vs is equal to Xi S, which is also equal to Ns d phi by phi v divided by dt. So here we have calculated voltage across primary. Here we have calculated the voltage across secondary. Are you clear? Now the voltage across secondary equation can be taken as second equation. Are you clear? So two equation now that is to be used for further derivation. How to start? Look at here. Look at both the two. Take the ratio. Now that Vs, second equation, to be divided by first equation. Second equation to be divided by first equation. If Vs is divided by Vp, what will happen? I am going to substitute now. Minus Ns d phi b divided by dt whole divided by this equation. Minus Ns Np d phi b divided by dt. Now these factors can be cancelled. This minus sign can also be cancelled. So what is the remaining thing? Vs divided by Vp is equal to Ns divided by Np. Look at the ratio. That is voltage across secondary to the voltage across primary. It's a ratio. This is equal to another ratio. What is this? Number of turns in the secondary to the number of turns in the primary. Both the two will give the same result. Are you clear? This Ns by Np, the Ns divided by Np, that can be called as a constant. That is called K. This K is called voltage transformation ratio. Voltage transformation ratio. That is the name of the constant called K. Are you clear? Now, here few more things to be learned now. Listen here. Now, we'll see what is a ideal transformer. Ideal means the input power, the power what is given in the primary should be equal to the output power. Only then the transformer is said to be ideal transformer. But in reality, there won't be any ideal transformer. All are called as practical transformers. So let's start the derivation on the basis of that. The transformer must be considered as an ideal one. So what is power? Usually the power in any circuit that can be calculated by the product of voltage and current. So in primary circuit, how much amount of current is flowing? IP amount of current is flowing. Are you clear? IP must be multiplied with the voltage across primary. IP means their current is passing through primary coil. VP is the voltage across primary coil. This one will be equal to the current induced in the secondary, IS, and voltage across secondary, that can be taken as Vs. So IP into Vp is equal to Is into Vs. So the power what is given here, that one will be completely transformed into output power. Such kind of thing happens, that is called ideal transformer. So here, from this we can get the ratio. Let us say like this. Keep Vs in one side, bring the Vp this side. This one becomes Vs divided by Vp. After cross multiplying, what will happen? IP divided by Is can be written. So Vs divided by Vp will be equal to IP by Is. Already we have known that. Look at the equation. Vs divided by Vp will be equal to which one? IP divided by Is. From this expression, we can write it as Ns divided by Np. Are you clear? So this one will be equal to voltage transformation ratio. So to calculate the voltage transformation ratio, either you can use Vs by Vp or IP by Is or Ns divided by Np. Any one of the equation can be used to find out the voltage transformation ratio. So here, by knowing any three quantities, we can calculate any unknown quantity. So problem will be asked from this basic equation. Are you clear? Now we are going to differentiate step up transformer and step down transformer. Are you clear? So let's classify how it could be differentiated. Step up. Already I have told about the differentiation between step up and step down. Again, on the basis of the equation, I am going to explain. Are you clear? In the case of step up transformer, number of turns in the secondary is greater than number of turns in the primary. Note down. Number of turns in the secondary is greater than number of turns in the primary. Are you clear? So definitely from this equation, we can say that voltage across secondary will be greater than voltage across primary. Voltage across secondary will be greater than voltage across primary. Look at the equation. Here Vs by Vp is there. Here Ns by Np is there. But here in a contradiction form, that current formula is there. So definitely IP, the current passing through primary, will be lesser than current passing through secondary. Are you clear? So these are all the things will happen in the case of step up transformer. In the case of step up transformer, K value, because number of turns in secondary will be always greater than number of turns in the primary. Or we can say that voltage across secondary will be always greater than voltage across primary. Therefore, the K value, that is voltage transformation ratio value, will be always greater than 1. So this one will happen in the case of step up transformer. In the case of step down transformer, number of turns in the secondary will be lesser than number of turns in the primary, and voltage across secondary will be lesser than voltage across primary, and current passing through primary will be always greater than current passing through secondary, current induced in the secondary, and then the voltage transformation ratio will be always lesser than 1. By knowing the value of voltage transformation ratio, we can easily find out whether the transformer is step up or step down. Make a note. Are you clear? But in the case of ideal transformer, these things not applicable. Are you clear? Only the case of step up and step down we can calculate like this. So very important differentiation point. Are you clear? Here by using these two expressions, by using these two tabular columns, is clear, we are able to differentiate what is step up and what is step down transformer. Are you clear? Here in the case of step up transformer, make a note, in the case of step up transformer, voltage is increased, low voltage is increased to high voltage, but current is decreased. In the output the current is decreased. Are you clear? You have to understand that. Can you understand? Listen here, now we have to learn what is the ideal transformer. In the case of ideal transformer, the input power, what is this? The input power will be equal to output power. The power what is given in the input, that one will be completely transferred into the secondary winding. The power which is given in the primary will be completely transferred into the secondary winding. That's why this equation could be written. So in the case of ideal transformer, which two are equal? Input power will be equal to output power. This is a very important thing. Often this one will be asked. On the basis of this, few problem will also be asked. What is the general formula for power? In any electrical circuit, power could be calculated by multiplying voltage and current. So here input is nothing but primary winding. Okay. So here IP, what is IP? The current passing through primary, that should be multiplied with the voltage across primary. Are you clear? So this is somehow related with secondary coil. Therefore the current induced in the secondary, that should be multiplied with voltage across secondary coil. Are you clear? The voltage induced in the secondary coil. So IP into Vp should be equal to Is into Vs. It is written in mathematical form. Now this Vs to be divided by Vp. After cross multiplying you will get IP divided by Is. Are you clear? So here Vs by Vp will be equal to Ip by Is. Look at the equation. Without rubbing, I have kept the equation separately here. Vs by Vp should be equal to K. Ns by Np also equal to K. Are you clear? So Vs by Vp can be equated with which one? Ns by Np. One more ratio is added in this series. All of them will be equal to K. This K is called voltage transformation ratio. Voltage transformation ratio can be calculated either by using this ratio or by using current ratio or by using this number of turns ratio. Are you clear? Now here Vs by Vp is there, here Ns by Np is there. See the middle, very important one. While doing problem you may commit mistake. That's why I have put a star here. To calculate K transformation ratio, Ip by Is must be used. Don't forget. Now we are going to differentiate step up transformer and then step down transformer. This question may be asked in 2 mark or in 3 mark. Are you clear? In the case of step up transformer, number of turns in the secondary will be greater than number of turns in the primary. In the case of step down transformer, number of turns in the secondary will be lesser than number of turns in the primary. Voltage across secondary will be greater than voltage across primary in the case of step up. Voltage across secondary will be lesser than voltage across primary. Are you clear? Let's come to the current. The current passing through, see here voltage is more in secondary. Therefore the current in the secondary must be lesser than voltage is increased. Look at that. In step up transformer, the output voltage, the voltage across secondary is greater, but current is reduced. Current passing through secondary is less compared to current passing through primary. Here in the case of step down transformer, voltage across secondary is less, but current passing through primary is greater. Are you clear? Compared to current passing through secondary. Are you clear? Here number of turns in the secondary coil in step-up transformer is greater compared to number of turns in the primary. So if you calculate the ratio, that K value will be greater than 1 in the case of step-up transformer. In the case of step-down transformer, number of turns in the secondary is less compared to number of turns in primary. Therefore, mathematically we can say that the voltage transformation ratio in the case of step-down transformer is lesser than 1. So like that, we are able to differentiate both the two by using these 4 points. This one may be asked in the examination. Are you clear? To measure the performance of any device, we have to calculate the factor called efficiency. Transformer is also a device and we have to calculate the efficiency of the transformer. What is the formula? The general formula to calculate the efficiency of any device is output divided by input. Here power is transferred. Therefore, the efficiency of the transformer can be calculated by calculating the ratio of output power to the input power. What is the formula for output power? Vs into Is, that is related to secondary coil. Voltage across secondary and current measured in secondary. Both of them should be multiplied. Input power can be calculated by Vp into Ip. If you use this formula, you will get the answer in terms of number. Are you clear? If the same formula, if it is multiplied with 100%, you will get the answer in terms of percentage. Sometimes in problem, this is clear, maybe the eta value, this is called eta, efficiency is measured in terms of eta. That eta efficiency may be given in terms of number or may be given in terms of percentage. Are you clear? In the case of ideal transformer, it's an imaginary one. In the case of ideal transformer, both the input power and output power, both of them will be equal. Therefore, if you calculate eta, that is efficiency, you will get 1. If it is calculated in terms of percentage, you will get 100%. But in practically, all the transformers, they don't have 100%. Due to some energy losses in the transformer, simply they are called as practical transformers. Due to energy losses, their efficiency value will be in between 96 to 99%. So the loss, that one may be due to energy losses. The next topic you are going to learn the energy losses in the transformer. Okay, thank you.